Not only could this be the best roguelike I've ever played, it is by far the best platform game to come out on the PlayStation 4 this year, and it's definitely going to get a Game of the Year nomination for me for the best indie title to come out this year, but I think it's one of my best indie titles of all time. Yes, Dead Cells has finally arrived on the PlayStation 4, and I'm very late with reviewing this game because I was waiting for a physical copy, and that's going to take a while by the looks of it, so I downloaded it. But I've had it on the Switch for a while, a number of weeks, and of course it's been around on Steam in early access for a long time, so PC gamers have been enjoying this for ages. Now, what's all the fuss about? Okay, well, this is a roguelike. Now, a roguelike means that there's procedurally generated maps, there's no continues, and you do a run, meaning that you play the game through with one life, and you would receive different rewards and different unlocks and different weapons each time you play, thus either increasing your chances or giving you a loadout that you feel you can go a long way with. Now, it may sound frustrating, but this is a really good place to start when it comes to that genre of game, because it's got so much to give and so much really unlocks in the first level that your playthroughs are very rarely the same, and the weapon types are so vastly different that it's amazingly varied in its own right. Just on level 1, I do not bore of going through the first level again and again and again. It's absolutely awesome. The first level has 2 branch offs which take you to 2 different types of levels. One of them is the sort of ramparts, and the other one is a sort of lower sewage level, which I'll show you in a minute. Now, this game is excelling because of 2 reasons. Its combat is borrowed from a lot of the Castlevania games. You must know them. They're older retro vampire games that really made a massive impact on the old systems, and it also borrows from what's called Metroid or Metroidvanias. What that means is that the map, which is down there on the bottom right, is huge, and you can explore it at your own pace and get to different areas depending on what different weapons or different abilities you unlock. So it's a very clever idea. It's used by a lot of games, and of course this is borrowed both of those formats, so it's a Metroidvania, and it's slammed them together so beautifully. It's stunning. It's breathtaking. Instantly you know how good this game is within the first 5 minutes of playing. Anyone who's sort of familiar with that old school jump, roll, melee attack, double jump, platforming setup will be at home with this game. Now, it's got a very large bit of depth to it because it's got this modern roguelike aspect. So if you know games like Enter the Gungeon or even Risk of Rain, it's got an unlock that stays with you. So there's various weapons and sort of blueprints and perks that will always be with you on your next run, and that's what those funny glass bottles are at the beginning of the level. You'll see them again in a second. The game's got a currency as well, and you'll see the drops from the enemies, which are these sort of spherical balls, and that is what you spend at the end of each level to unlock something, an ability or whatever, to take to the following level. So I know this all sounds quite complicated. You're going to have to bear with me on this because it all comes together incredibly. One of the things that I'm really enjoying is the way it looks. Now, the Switch version was chugging a little bit. That poor old Switch doesn't really have the CPU to run this game when it's going mental. Other than that, it looks fine. But on the PlayStation 4, oh wow, it's like a Rolls Royce. It's just so nice to have a really busy screen and not worry about any frame rates or any frame drops, etc. The studio that made this game really took the art very seriously as well. There's probably some 13-year-old Fortniters out there who were like, this game doesn't look any good because of the graphics. These graphics are just beautiful. The animations on each of the enemies is absolutely amazing, and the variety of attacks and attack patterns and particle physics and just different stuff that happens when you combine different weapons is brilliant. Never get bored of that. Now you can see here that I've actually found some weapons. It will give you some, you don't have to unlock them all. There will be drops in and around the map. And there's 2 slots down on there, L2, R2, so you get given these grenades and these traps and all this like weird stuff to help you on your way. And they are so varied as well. There's freeze and elements in this game. There's electricity, fire and ice, and the ice is incredible. It stops the enemies, it stacks damage on them, they stay still. So you're kind of doing a run trying to get a decent ice weapon or a decent ice grenade or even a projectile ice weapon to utilize. What else can I say about this? I'm sure you've all heard of it. There was a big controversy with a review that was written on IGN that they stole off some bloke, and just, I don't know how they've managed to they haven't got away with it. I mean, it's embarrassing enough as it is, but that's really only the best press it's got was from IGN plagiarizing this guy's review. But you know, it overshadowed what really has become one of the strongest indie releases for a huge amount of time. I think the last game to have an impact on me like this was probably Watch or something, but even then it's a massive jump, because this genre is something I'm such a big fan of. Now I want to show you here, this is an area that you get at the end of the level, so it's a little bit like that guy on Resident Evil 4 who you go and visit and spend your points with. This is, you have to spend your points, you can't stack them at the end of each level, and this enables you the ability to start gradually unlocking these permanent perks which I was talking about. So there could be a random bow, your health is one of the first things you do, so you have a refill charge on that, and again these start to stack up. The random bow and random drop weapon at the start is such a cool idea, because you can start a run and just be totally awesome from the get-go. It's also got a massive emphasis on speed running, so you'll see that there's a timer in the bottom corner there. There's these doors that basically stay open until a certain amount of time until you get to them in the level, and that's such a great idea, because you've got a choice between fanning around and getting really strong for the next level, or speed running that level and getting the perks behind the locked door afterwards. So Dead Cells is an absolute must purchase. $20 on the PlayStation Network. Don't be like me and hang out for a physical copy, because this is just worth playing as soon as possible. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I shall see you down there. Lee, keep playing this on the Switch by all means, and thank you very much, guys.